Hello children, let me first congratulate you all who promoted to 9th grade and extend my warmest wishes on the beginning of the new academic year. As you all know that beginning of something new is always amazing, and so is this way of interaction due to the COVID-19 which affected the whole world. We have to overcome the challenges arise due to COVID-19, and we can start a fresh academic year by praying to the Almighty to give strength and support to us. With this, we can start the session. I am Maya teacher, handling biology in 9th A, B, C, D and E and class charge of 9th D. This year, we have 2 volumes of textbooks. In the first volume, we have 4 chapters, and the second volume we have 3 chapters. Let us begin with the first chapter. The name of the first chapter is Protectors of Biosphere. Protectors of Biosphere. So, Biosphere. What is Biosphere? Already you have learned in 8th standard. What is Biosphere? Biosphere is the part of Earth where life is seen. Life means all the living beings, including human beings, animals, plants, all the microorganisms in the world are the life, and they are seen in the biosphere. And protectors of biospheres are definitely plants, because only plants can protect the biosphere. Without plants, we cannot survive on the earth. Now, the chapter begins with a poster. And this poster is designed by a student like you based on the topic Save Earth from Global Warming. Global warming is a dangerous phenomenon that leads a rise in Earth's temperature. The main cause of global warming is the greenhouse gases, the air pollutants and carbon dioxide. These pollutants act as a shield around the Earth and prevent the escape of heat from Earth to space. This leads to the rise in Earth's temperature, and gradually that leads to global warming. It's a great threat to human race. It's a great threat to our Earth because it leads to many adverse effects like climatic changes, flood, because when the temperature increases, naturally the ice caps in the polar regions melt. So these are some of the adverse effects of global warming. Now we'll come back to this poster. In this poster you can see an earth and a big tree on it. And one side of the earth and the tree, that is full of green, because in this everything is abundant. Life is present because plants are there. And on the other side, you can see it is barren. There is no sign of life on the other side of the earth. And from this poster, it is very clear that plants are the protectors of earth. Without plants, we cannot survive on the earth. So it is very important that we have to protect the earth only by growing plants. We always think about the nature, environment, everything during the World Environment Day celebration. But it should be a habit of protecting the nature. Children, you are the future citizens, so it is in your hands. Now, plants can prevent global warming to a certain extent. So let us discuss how plants prevent global warming with the help of an illustration. So here is the illustration. So here you can see the carbon dioxide. In the atmosphere, carbon dioxide is present. Carbon dioxide is absorbed by the plants, and utilizing this carbon dioxide, plants synthesize glucose, and during the synthesis of glucose, plants release oxygen to the atmosphere. And this oxygen being utilized by the animals for respiration, and during respiration energy is released. Along with this, carbon dioxide is also released to the dioxide is again utilized by the plants for synthesizing glucose, and along with that oxygen is released to the atmosphere, and this oxygen is being utilized by the animals and again release carbon dioxide. So this is a cyclic process, and through this cyclic process plants prevent global warming to a certain extent. So when you see this illustration, one process will come into your mind, because that process you have learned from your lower classes. What is that process? It is nothing but photosynthesis. So plants are able to produce global warming only through photosynthesis. So through photosynthesis, plants balance the level of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. The level of carbon dioxide doesn't increase in the atmosphere through photosynthesis. At the same time, the level of oxygen increases through photosynthesis. Now you have understood how plants control global warming. Now let us move on to the next topic, photosynthesis, because through photosynthesis plants control global warming. So from the illustration, already you have understood that carbon dioxide is one of the important factors required for photosynthesis. Let us discuss what are the other factors required for photosynthesis. And they are minerals and salts, water, sunlight and chlorophyll. These are the factors required for photosynthesis along with carbon dioxide. So how do plants acquire these factors required for photosynthesis? So first we'll discuss about chlorophyll. Where is chlorophyll seen? What is the role of chlorophyll in photosynthesis? So before studying about the role of chlorophyll in photosynthesis, let us see a cartoon in the textbook. You can see here a cartoon in the textbook. In this, a girl, Tara, she is standing near a small plant and she is thinking about the color of the leaves. She has a doubt that why does the upper part of the leaf is more greener than the lower part? Have you ever thought about that? What is the reason behind this color difference in the leaves? I'll show you a leaf. See, this is the upper part of the leaf. This is more greener than the lower part. See, this is less green. This is light green and this is dark green. And the reason behind this color difference is the presence of chlorophyll. That is, more chlorophyll is present on the upper part of the leaf than the lower part of the leaf. So we have to prove this. In which part more chlorophyll is present? For that, in the textbook, section of the leaf is given. With that, I have prepared a slide. So with the slide and the diagram in the textbook, we will compare and we'll understand which part the chlorophyll is more present. With that, I have prepared a slide. So with the slide and the diagram in the textbook, we will compare and we'll understand which part the chlorophyll is more present. In leaves, chlorophyll is present in the important plant cell organelle, chloroplast. So more number of chloroplasts are seen on the upper part than the lower part. This we will prove now with this slide and the diagram. So here is the slide I have prepared and this is the diagram of cross section of a leaf given in the textbook. So this is upper part of the leaf and this is lower part of the leaf. Let us observe the section of a leaf. In this you can see the epidermis and below that you can see some plant cells which are very compactly arranged, then the vascular tissues, and in the lower epidermis you can see that the stomata. So these are the important cells we can see when we take a section of a leaf, and this is the section that I have prepared. So in the diagram on the upper epidermis, the cells which are compactly arranged are known as the palisade tissue, and in that you can see number of green dots, and these green dots parts represent chloroplast. And when we come to this slide, on the upper epidermis, it is more thinner than the lower epidermis. So this shows that more chloroplasts are seen on the upper part of the leaf and less chloroplasts are seen on the lower part of the leaf. You can compare this with the diagram given in the textbook. So from this we can prove that on the upper part of the leaf more chloroplasts are seen and in the chloroplast chlorophyll is present. So that upper part is more thinner than the lower part. I think it is clear for you. Now we will come to the point. In the chloroplast, photosynthesis is taking place because it is the kitchen of the plant. So it is very important to understand the structure of the chloroplast, how it is able to conduct photosynthesis. So for that we have to understand the parts of chloroplast. So here is chloroplast. The chloroplast has a double membrane, an outer membrane and an inner membrane. Then the fluid filled inside the chloroplast is known as stroma. Then you can see here many disc-shaped things arranged one on the top of the other. These disc-shaped parts are known as thylakoids. They are arranged one on the top of the other, are known as grana. See, you can understand very easily. You all like the poppins, isn't it? In the poppins, different color disc-shaped candies are arranged one on the top of the other. In the same manner, here also, the grana, these disc-shaped objects or thylakoids are arranged one on the top of the other. And this pack of membranous sacs are known as grana. So these three are the important parts of chloroplast. The double membrane, stroma, the fluid part of chloroplast, then the pack of membranous sacs means fluid filled membranous bags are the membranous sacs and they are known as grana. Now let us see what are the functions of these parts. So here we are discussing about the importance of chlorophyll. What is the role of chlorophyll in photosynthesis? So I told you chlorophyll is present in the chloroplast. So let us see in which part of chloroplast chlorophyll is present. Chlorophyll is present in the grana of the chloroplast. So not only chlorophyll, there are other pigments are also present in the chloroplast. See, chlorophyll is a pigment which imparts green color to the leaf and other plant parts. So in a tree, we can see that many leaves as well as green colored parts. So wherever the green color is present, in all those parts, chloroplast is also present. So like chlorophyll, other three pigments are also present in the chloroplast. They are chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, xanthophyll and carotene. Once again, chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, xanthophyll and carotene. These pigments are known as light absorbing pigments. See, light is, especially sunlight is very essential for photosynthesis. Without sunlight, photosynthesis will not be taking place because plants need energy to synthesize photosynthesis. So because of chlorophyll or because of this light absorbing pigments only, plants are able to prepare food. So that is the importance of chlorophyll, or that's the role of light absorbing pigments in photosynthesis. So with the help of these pigments, the leaves absorb light energy from sunlight. Then the important thing is only chlorophyll A is directly participating in photosynthesis. The other three pigments, chlorophyll B, xanthophyll and carotene, are just transferring their energy to chlorophyll A, which means they have only a supporting role, so that they are known as accessory pigments. Accessory pigments are the chlorophyll B, xanthophyll, carotene. They transfer their energy to chlorophyll A, and only chlorophyll A is directly participating in photosynthesis. photosynthesis. So you have to draw the structure of chloroplast in the file and you have to label the parts. 3-4 times you have to draw in the left notebook also because it is very important. And below the diagram there are indicators. So find out the answers of that indicators and note it down in the biology file. Let us conclude the class. So this class we have discussed about global warming, the causes of global warming, then the adverse effects of global warming and how does plant control global warming, then the factors required for photosynthesis and chlorophyll, what is the role of chlorophyll in photosynthesis, the structure of chloroplast, and we have compared the diagram, the section of leaf and the slide I have prepared. So these are the important factors we have discussed in this class. Hope you all have understood. You have to draw the illustration by which the plants balance the level of carbon dioxide and oxygen in the file and find out the answers for the indicators given just below that and also the indicators just below the chloroplast, and you have to draw the chloroplast also in the file and study well, and if you have any doubt you can contact me. So we will meet in the next class. Thank you.